There were times I felt less than. There were times where I felt like I wasn't worthy because all these rules and standards that society and everybody and their mama not living by, but want to put onto you.
South, can y'all really feel me? Feel us. East Coast, feel us. West.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Mercedes Michelle. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to the channel. I hope this video serves you well. I hope you guys gain something from this video. If you do, stick around, watch a few more videos, and yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all of that good stuff. So Today, we are going to be talking about the lessons, the blessings, the regrets of our 20s. I am officially 30. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. I'm 30, y'all. I am 30. Like, it's not that I'm stressed about being 30. It's not that I'm sad to be 30. It's just an unbelievable feeling to me because a part of me feels like that 16-year-old girl still. A part of me feels like that 21-year-old girl still. A part of me feels like that 25-year-old, but no, I'm 30. Where has time gone? Seriously. But this is not going to be your typical, oh my gosh, I hated my 20s. Oh my gosh, I'm full of regrets. No, this is not what this video is going to be about. And I'm just going to be real with y'all. You know, my 20s were my 20s and I needed to go through everything that I went through in my 20s to be where I am today. A lot of people come on here and tell you how much they wasted their 20s. They regret not doing certain things in their 20s. And for me, it's the complete opposite. I feel like I had to go through everything I went through in my 20s so that I can thrive in my 30s, because there is no way that I would want to go through what I went through in my 20s in my 30s. And I feel like if you don't go through certain things and you don't learn and you don't get the lessons, you're going to have to experience those things eventually. Whether you think, oh, I'm above it or not, it's going to come. So why not experience them, learn from them, and move on from them? My 20s were a lot of lessons for me. I had a lot of good times in my 20s. I will tell anyone, my 20s gave me the childhood that I never had. I'm not saying that I had like the worst childhood, but I got to experience the things that I wanted to experience as a child in my early 20s. I got to travel. I got on my first flight at 24. I traveled out of the country with my passport. I took my daughter to Disneyland and Disney World in my 20s. These are things that I dreamed of doing in my childhood, but never even thought in a million years could happen for me. And then I became an adult and I started making these things happen for myself as well as my child. The easiest way for me to describe the high points of my 20s is me living out some of my wildest childhood dreams. There were lows, there were tough times, there were experiences that I had to go through, there were lessons that I had to learn from. I'm thankful for those things as well. And I know we can sit on camera and we can say, oh, I hated that I had to go through being a single mom in my 20s. I hate that I had to go through different careers in my 20s, or I regret not taking certain opportunities. We can sit here and say that all day, but a lot of the things that we don't say is that I wouldn't have learned this, or I wouldn't have discovered this about myself, or this experience helped me through this, or because I took this route, I learned this, and I know now not to do that when I'm here. Or I hope I'm making sense. I can't come on here and tell you guys, oh my gosh, I regret my 20s. Oh my gosh, I wasted my 20s, because I did a lot. I lived, but I can say that sometimes I did forget to live. In my early 20s, it was survival mode for me. I was surviving, working nonstop, going to school, being a mom, going to school, being a mom, going to work. It was nonstop. I don't even remember my early 20s sometimes. Like, there's very few memories that I have of my early 20s because I wasn't living in the moment. I was just surviving. So I can't say things like that was something that I wish I would have taken the time to take in those moments, even though they weren't all good, but they weren't all bad. And I can't even remember the good or the bad because I was in such survival mode that life was just passing me by. I was working all the time. I was being a mom if I wasn't working. I was going to school if I wasn't working and being a mom. I was on go. But even in those moments, I wish I would have took the time to just slow down a little bit. Slow down and remember these moments. Slow down, remember you going to the state fair. I know we went to the state fair, but I don't remember the moments at the state fair, if that makes sense. I know we went to the zoo. I know we went to the aquarium, but I don't remember the actual feeling and the moments that we had while going through those things. If it wasn't for phones and videos and photos these days, there would be a lot more memories that I would not remember. Like, so if you want to talk about regrets, I regret not taking more videos. I regret not taking more photos during that time because I was in survival mode. I was just trying to survive and I really wasn't taking in those precious moments. I wasn't enjoying my daughter's childhood and watching her every milestone. Even though I was physically there to see it, I wasn't mentally there to remember those milestones because I know they happened. I was physically there, but because I was in such a survivor's mode, I can't remember those moments. I can't remember my daughter's first word. I should have wrote it down. I think I did write it down in her memory book. I'm not sure. But my advice to you would be to slow down. We're going to talk about how fast our 20s fly by, and it's because we didn't take the time to slow down. We played a part in those years flying by because a lot of us are in survival mode. A lot of us are, trying to figure out what we want to be in life, what we want to do with our life, what career paths we want to go down, what man or woman we want to marry, what career is next. Like, we're always thinking about what's next, and we fail to realize what's in front of us. We fail to just see the good things in front of us. So in my 20s, I was able to discover a lot about myself. So fear being number one. Fear held me back from a lot of things. I could have been further than where I was, but because of fear, I held back a lot. I held back on trying new things. I held back on new opportunities. I started stuff but didn't finish because of fear. And I told myself in my 30s, I cannot allow fear to hold me back or keep me down, because fear is something that is so hard to overcome. It's like your mind just playing tricks on you and you don't even know what you're afraid of. You may be afraid of failing. You may be afraid of succeeding because it's something that you're not used to, or it's just the fear of the unknown. I feel like fear got in the way of me accomplishing a lot more in my 20s than I could have accomplished if I wasn't so fearful. What am I scared of? What was I scared of? I couldn't tell you. Maybe I was scared of failure. Maybe I was scared of too much success. Maybe I was scared of really making it and feeling like I wasn't deserving of it. Because when you come from nothing, it's kind of like what you know, and you start believing, okay, well, maybe this is just the way my life is supposed to be. So when you get a little taste of something good, it either seems too good to be true or it's a little scary. I really allow fear to hold me back a lot in my young years, in my 20s, and in my 30s. I just told myself that I cannot continue to allow fear to get in the way of myself, like my success, the things that I want to do in life. I have to let go of that fear. And Another thing that I feel like in my 20s and even as a child, I never spoke up for myself. And I do feel like my childhood had an effect on me as to why I wasn't so vocal, why I didn't really, speak up for myself a lot. And when I say speak up for myself, I'm not saying I allowed people to disrespect me and not say anything. It's just like the smallest things. Maybe they got my food order wrong and I just was like, oh, it's fine, when really it wasn't fine. If I got my nails done and they messed up on it, I wouldn't say anything. I would just let it go and let it be and count my losses, because I'm not a confrontational person and I don't like confrontation. And I feel like the moment you speak up, I automatically think, oh my gosh, it's going to be a confrontation, opposed to no, just let them know your displeasures. Let them know you don't like something. It's okay to speak up. It doesn't mean you're aggressive. It doesn't mean you're confrontational. It doesn't mean that you're this rude, hard to please person. It just means that you didn't like it, and that's okay. And I had to learn that, and I'm still learning that one. I still have a hard time. I feel like after I became a parent, I became a little more vocal, because I have to speak up and defend my child if something goes wrong, if I don't like something, if I feel there's an issue with health or school, I have to be the one to speak up and defend her. So I feel like it's easy for me to defend other people, but when it comes to speaking up for myself and defending myself, now, I'm not going to say defending, because I know how to defend myself. I'm just going to say, just speaking up for myself. If I have a displeasure in something, I lack that a lot in my 20s. So don't hold back. Always be your biggest representative, and always, speak up for yourself. Take care of you, because nobody else is going to do it. Looking back on my 20s, I accomplished a lot financially. I was able to pay off debt. I was able to save a lot of money. I was able to purchase my first home. I was able to graduate college. I became a mom in my 20s. There's so many good things that happened for me in my 20s. That's why I can never come on camera and tell you guys I regret my 20s or I wasted my 20s, because there were so many good things that happened to me, even though they didn't come easy, even though the road was very tough. It was hard, but it was worth it. It was worth seeing myself succeed. And then now, sitting here at 30, I get to work on the things that matter most to me. Yeah, the house is good, paying off debt, that's all good. Everybody needs to be financially stable, right? Because that's just society and the world we live in. But money is not everything, and I am learning that money is very stressful. It causes a lot of chaos in people's lives. I know that my 20s have led me into my 30s and have set me up for success. So the only way is up from here. And based on society, yeah, of course, I didn't follow society's rules and standards. I'm a 30-year-old single mom. That was tough, going through my 20s as a young single mom in the society that we live in, where we are put down, we're, talked down upon. We are like the worst things on earth because we are single moms. I had moments of discouragement. I had moments where I felt that I wasn't worthy enough because of decisions that I had made as a young 20-year-old, getting pregnant, having a baby so young. Society standards and rules kind of got me in a bubble on dating. I didn't date a lot in my 20s. I'll be the first to admit I was very fearful of dating in my 20s, just because of the way the world was, the way people would move. And honestly, it came down to maybe me not even trusting my own judgment, because of the decisions and the people that I chose in the past made me fearful of choosing that same type of person, even though I felt like I learned my lesson. Or a lot of times when I did date, I could not ignore the red flags. I could not turn a blind eye. So it seemed like maybe I was just date or talk to a person, and then we would just stop, and then I would look like the crazy one because I seen a red flag, or I seen something that I didn't like, and I didn't move forward with it. And then it just, if you try to, continue that same cycle, you'll run through a whole bunch of people. And that's just not something that I want. So anytime that I had seen like a red flag or a yellow flag or caution sign, I was like, I'm not doing this. So it made me really take breaks in between those things, because it's like, why am I still attracting this type of person? I know the type of person I am. Why am I attracting this? What am I doing wrong? I took many times to reflect on myself, to learn what I like, what I dislike. I am a firm believer in order to get over somebody, you gotta be still and be alone so that you won't keep making that same mistake. And that's what I do. That, like, me and dating, that's what I do. I don't care if it takes me 3 to 5 years. If that's the timeline I need to reevaluate and readjust, I'm going to take it. And if that means my 20s flying by without me properly dating, then so be it, because I don't want to be in my 30s still attracting that same type of person, or even giving that type of person the time of day, whether I attract them or not. I let society get to me. I let somebody make me feel like, okay, maybe I'm not worthy of love. Maybe I'm not worthy of finding my life partner because of the decisions that I made at a young age. Maybe my mistakes were just too bad. Even though everybody makes mistakes, maybe I made the wrong mistakes and I can't come back from it. Even though I've never harmed anybody, I've never been cruel or evil to anyone. But at the same time, society made me sometimes feel like I was just the worst person ever because of my life choices. And then as I got older, this was definitely in my younger 20s, as I got older and I started reaching different milestones in my life for myself and not for society, I started to realize that what they were saying didn't define me, because I started to learn who I was as a person and know that I'm not perfect, but I know who I am, and I know that I'm a good person. And I don't have to say that a lot. I don't have to say that. I just know my energy reflects that. My kindness reflects that. And society, or anybody who thinks that they're above or better than, is not going to tell me otherwise. It took a lot of growth for me to get to that point, because there were moments, like I said, that I would allow certain things to get to me and bring my spirits down. And I'm just so grateful to be out of that phase. So we have to stop saying that we wasted our 20s and just start acknowledging that there was a lot of lessons that we had to endure in our 20s in order to live out our 30s. And as for us women, we have to stop thinking that life ends at 30 and it's really just beginning. Your 20s are your first years of doing life on your own, figuring it out, becoming an adult, because you're really not fully developed until 25. So your brain is still developing. The way you see the world is still developing, because for your entire life up until you turned 18, you were dependent on your parents to make pretty much every decision for you. So your 20s became a independency that you were not accustomed to. You may have still even depended on your parents for certain things, because I know when I turned 20, I was still calling my mom like, they said this, or what should I say? I need to make a doctor's appointment. What do I need to have prepared? I was still calling my mom, and I was a mom. So those 20s, I think we're too hard on ourselves. We're too hard on our 20-year-old selves, and I don't like that. I don't have any regrets. My 20s opened the door for my 30s. Don't allow society's standards and rules to dictate your life. Don't allow society's standards and rules to make you feel like you are failing at life. Don't allow society's rules and standards to make you feel like you're behind and you're not deserving of whatever you desire. Because, honey child, there were times I felt less than. There were times where I felt like I wasn't worthy because all these rules and standards that society and everybody and their mama not living by, but want to put onto you. Listen, we are all on our own pace, our own journey at our own time. I don't care when you started. It's about whoever finishes. And honey, just finish. I'm going to leave y'all guys with this. I worked nonstop in my 20s. I was always working. Work. And let me tell you, money is important. We all need it. But time, if you don't have time to enjoy that money, spend that money, what's the point of having that money? That's all I'm going to say. You can take that how you want to take it, apply it, use it, do what you got to do. But you will learn money is not everything. And that's all I got for y'all. So as a now 30-year-old, I can say that my 20s were full of blessings and blessings. It was a beautiful ride. It was a beautiful journey. Ups, downs, highs, lows. I would not trade it for anything. And I know more now and I know better now, so that my 30s will be even better than my 20s. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's live out these 30s together. Bye guys.